I'm Schwarz, welcome to Geoterrics Outdoors Australia. It snowed last night, as you can probably see. Anyway, this is my vlog for the beginning of winter. I'm excited. I love winter. I love the snow sports. I just love being in the Australian Alps in the winter. Recently bought some snowshoes from overseas. I had a video last year that I reviewed the Tubbs Flex Trek, and that went quite well. I'm currently walking up Mount Stillwell, which you can see right there, and that'll be a video I'll release. But I'll also, when I get a little bit further up, it's snowshoe weather up there, so I'll put the snowshoes on one of the pairs that I've bought anyway, and I'll give you a bit of a review. So let's have a chat about a couple of things. So one of the best clothing purchases I've ever made in my whole life is hands down the Mont wet weather gear. But at the same time as buying the Mont wet weather gear, I bought an unsung hero, which is this particular Polar Fleece. And this thing has been going, I've worn this every single winter, often in autumn, often in spring, but definitely every single winter. And all I've ever worn to the snow for years was this Polar Fleece and the Mont Austral outerwear, and that's all I needed. As I started getting a bit older and lost a fair amount of weight and a bit of padding there and insulation, I started feeling the cold a bit more and started buying snow jackets, which were a little warmer, but still had this in the bag almost every time. So what this jacket allows me to do is layer. Currently I've got a merino layer, I've got a polypropylene layer, and I've got this. That's all I've got. Different people feel cold in different ways, and they also need to dress to ward it off in different ways. I don't feel it as much as others, so I'm quite happy in the wind here. It's probably, with wind chill, it's probably -2 or 3 degrees, and I've actually got this open because I was getting a little bit too hot with the walk. But the layering effect that this gives, having a zip as well, means that I can zip up or down and zip completely off if I need to, and take it off as I'm walking up or as I'm going along. The two underlayers, one's got a zip as well, the poly layer's got a zip, but the merino layer is just up against my skin. I'm not worried about sweat wicking too much in this particular instance, but what I am trying to do is keep warm and keep some of the warmth inside from being stolen by the wind. So if the wind would get up really bad, I've got an outer layer in my bag, which is my new Mont gear. I haven't done a review on that yet, but that was to replace the old Mont gear that I left at the old farm. But layering on the bottom here, I have a merino layer and a pair of jeans. That's all I've got. I've got one pair of socks, and that's all I really need with my mid hikers. Looking back now from Mount Stillwell along Kangaroo Ridge, it's a situation that the weather is coming in, and I wouldn't get to the top of the mountain and back down in enough time with my current fitness levels. Harking back to my previous vlog, sometimes the difference between going out for a walk and being in a survival situation is being an idiot and not reading the signs. And then a beautiful day out in the mountains turns out to actually be a survival situation. When I looked behind me and this weather front started to appear over the mountains, and I was watching it a bit closer and closer, and it was coming in fairly quickly. I'll get some video footage from just over the ridge a bit and show you. And it's the skills that I mentioned in my previous vlog, as well as the gear, that you don't even get into a survival situation in the first place, which is what you need to do. You need to use your skills and go, hang on, this is not going to end well. And that's exactly what I've done today. Disappointed, really disappointed, because I started putting the video together. Another walks of Kosciuszko, Mount Stillwell, and there Stillwell is behind me. However, the risk of getting caught out in that weather with nothing is not worth the effort. I don't think it's particularly heavy on the forecast, but the temperature is going to drop down, and I just don't have the gear for it, and I've got to work tomorrow anyway, so let's not put ourselves in impossible situations. I've explained my opinion about marketers marketing survival gear, but my latest one is tactical. I sort of sit there and think, tactical, are you aiming military products at the everyday people? Is that what tactical means? Same as mil spec. Military specification is what mil spec stands for, but I don't think the particular products, and I'll show you some examples, that these sellers are selling are actually military specifications. Most military specification gear is not available to the general public, and tactical, well, I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. And the temperature is getting colder. I'm going to show you something now which I last experienced in Russia. It's what's called diamond dust. I don't know if you can actually see the air around me and the little sparkles. The air above us is so cold that it's freezing the moisture out of the air, and it's not coming down as snow. It hasn't had time to form snow. It's not coming down as hail either, because hail needs to go around. It's individual pieces of ice that have just fallen straight out of the sky. It's spectacular. I hope you can see it. Back in my car, enjoying a little tasting platter. I'm actually very, very disappointed. The weather is still coming in over the mountains from the south, and we've had weather come over the mountain and a couple of flakes of snow here and there, but generally it hasn't been too bad. You never can tell. When I came up here with my son to celebrate my 50th birthday, we had exactly the same thing. Clouds rolling in over Kosciuszko and the main range there, and within 20 minutes we had hail. Within an hour we had snow. You can't tell, or at least I can't. I'm maybe not enough of a meteorologist to get this stuff right, but I say it's best to be safe than sorry. Another thing I've been increasingly irritated by is the use of drones in national parks. It's actually legal to use a drone in a national park. I didn't know that the first time I put a drone up, but I got told pretty quickly. And old mate here at Charlotte Pass is using a drone, and I popped down to say, hey, did you know? He said, no, I didn't know. And it's not on the flight map, which is really quite frustrating, and I agree with him on that. But if rangers see you, they will at the very least have a very stern talk to you, and at the worst they'll give you a fine, and it's a pretty hefty one as well. So that annoys me. I've seen other channels using drone footage from national parks, and I just think that's not okay. Old mate's still using his drone. He said thanks for the heads up, but kept using it. Some people are doing it totally oblivious to the rules, and some people are doing it actually knowing that it's illegal. And respect to all the content creators who are not using drones in national parks, and I've got nothing to say to the people who do, and YouTube content creators. So that's another thing that irritates me. Back in the driveway, it's a long drive back from Charlotte Pass. About to hop out and unpack and get rid of all the gear. But just before I finish this video, I want to answer a question that a few people have asked, and one subscriber in particular. What does climbed it mean? Little story. My son and I were driving to Mount Cordau. If you know the drive from Brisbane down to Warwick, you go through Cunningham's Gap, and there's two mountains. Mount Cordau is the one on the right, or further west, and Mount Mitchell is the one on the left, to the east. At the time, I was morbidly obese, very unhealthy, and was quite concerned for my future. Health-wise, it was crap. So I decided to take hiking up again in an effort to save my life. So my son and I were driving out, and we got to a particular point where we could see the whole of the scenic rim. And I said to him, mate, one day I want to be able to say, climbed it, climbed it, climbed it, climbed it, to all these peaks. And he looked at me and said, Dad, I'd love to come on that journey with you. That was 10, 15 years ago. Lost a fair bit of weight since then. I was in that 145, 150 kilos bracket there. Extremely unhealthy, doing some really stupid things to myself. Since then, I've been doing lots of hiking, a bit of camping, climbing some hills, and peak bagging, which is knocking off, ticking off various peaks, and that's what I've been doing. And only recently, in the last just over a year, started filming it. Would have been an interesting journey if I would have filmed it earlier, and I could have possibly done it before and after. Way under that weight now, way healthier. Sorted out quite a few of those health issues and have very few left to concern me with. But funnily, when we got to on the way to the top of Mount Cordau, the adductor muscles around my belly really started to hurt, and every step, every time I tried to pick up a foot to put one in front of the other, it really hurt. And my son Tyrone said, Dad, stop, you're hurting yourself. And I said, no, this is a good hurt, this is okay, this will heal. And when we got to the top, all the valleys and some of the other mountains, and it was just that the view was spectacular, and Tyrone turned to me and said, oh, now I know why you do this. So we'd been on bushwalks before, plenty. We the kids grew up bushwalking, but it was an effort, it was a cost, and the benefit out of it was this spectacular view, and that started it. So every time now I bag another peak, climbed it, as a shout out to Tyrone, who helped me on that journey to wellness and getting a bit of enjoyment out of life, and looking forward to doing plenty more with Tyrone and the rest of my family. And I'm just grateful that Sonia and the kids, they do it now too. Every time we get to the top of something, climbed it, if they're in the video. So that's the story of climbed it. But if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Please give us a thumbs up, a like, a comment. It'd be nice if you have something to say, especially those people I encountered on the walk. It'd be lovely to hear from you. And hey, thanks for watching.